what I understand, he's having difficulty with the financial payments, to the best of my knowledge, and from what I understand, he shut down the Coliseum. That's right, shut it down, and it's going to stay closed until further notice, or just until God knows when. So what does this mean? It means, once again, that the Islanders, the New York Islanders, have no home arena. What else is new with this organization? First it's one thing, then it's the other, and now it's just one big cluster crap. All we know from this is, where will the Islanders play? Are they going to go back to Barclays? Are they going to play in Bridgeport, out of all places? Will they share an arena with the New York Rangers? Will they be like the Giants and Jets, be called a New York team, but play in a different state? What is the situation surrounding this? There's obviously no new information as of right now. The Islanders have yet to comment. No other sources yet to comment, to the best of our knowledge. But you have to wonder, this is something that isn't good for this squad. This is something that shouldn't be happening. But it is. It is. Prokhorov. There we go. Prokhorov. Sounds like poke her off. Whatever that means. Whatever. Just needs the capital to pay off debt. Well, if he can't find anybody, who's going to pay it off? I'm hoping he finds someone, but this situation doesn't help us. My friend James is here. That's what I want to see. My good friend James. My best buddy and everything else in between. Oh, James, I do miss you. But where do we go from here? Where do the Islanders play? And how will this affect them in free agency? It's not going to affect them in this playoff run, because it's going to take place somewhere else, and who knows where. Oh, come on, James. You know you love me, and I love you, buddy. You miss having me around the workplace. I know you do. But in this situation, this is quite the conundrum for the New York Islanders. Roll Tide, James. Roll Tide. Good to hear. Text me. Let me know how things are going. Honestly, though, it makes you wonder. Will they actually play at the Coliseum next season? Will they really have one home arena? If you could call it a home arena, for that matter. We don't know. It's honestly baffling to me what's going on. The county does have a say in this, yes, but what will they say? We have two owners who brought in a Hall of Fame GM and a Stanley Cup winning coach, and yet for some reason whatsoever, whatever the reason is, we can't bring in any top caliber free agents. The only top caliber free agent that we were able to bring in, or calibers, I should say, this past offseason, were Derek Brassard, Tom Kuhnackel, and Semyon Varlamov. Nope, how none of them really know how to score goals or how to score over 20. One of them is a 31-year-old goaltender who signed a 4-year, $20 million deal. We could go to the Barclays Center, but who wants to go back there? Even if it's for one more year. What free agents do you know of who want to go there full time? Tell me what free agents will want to go there full time. I know I certainly wouldn't if I had to take a train to go back and forth. If my practice facility is on Long Island, then I have to take a train to Brooklyn and then back and have to deal with that. That's something I wouldn't want to put up with. But we don't know what's going on. That's the issue that's at hand with this squad. What do we know what is going on? Can I talk about how awesome the Great Eight is? Alex Ovechkin, my friend James, is one of the greatest hockey players that'll ever be. That will never be an Islander, but that I know that my buddy James is a great fan of. The Great Eight will always be great, no matter what. He will always be great. And that's a fact. As a matter of fact, I could see you, James, wearing a Great 8 jersey. I'm surprised you don't have one at the moment. Or if you do, you just haven't shown me. But yes, I could honestly see you in one. I can't see you in an Islander jersey for that matter, though. Oh, wait, I lied. I could see James in a John Tavares jersey showing it off because he was the greatest Islander this team has seen in quite some time. A great hockey player who went to another team. Who would have thought? I agree with you, James, that basketball is terrible. It truly is. I'm sorry, not basketball, the Barclays Center. Honestly, and I misspoke when I said that. Honestly, this is a problem. The last free agents, the top ones, were guys who couldn't score a jersey. Wow. You have a Haley jersey and a Nystrom jersey. Nice. I honestly don't know at this point. If the Islanders go back to the Barclays Center, who are they going to get in free agency? Who's going to help them with their scoring? Who is? Because I certainly don't know who. When you have a Hall of Fame GM and a Hall of Fame coach, a Stanley Company coach, and at this point, you can't attract a single free agent, or you do in Artemi Panarin, but you can't close the deal, and eventually he goes to the Rangers. It makes you wonder, who can Lou Lamoriello attract? So far, it looks like he can only attract fourth liners or bottom six forwards and depth pieces. Not anything that can help with scoring, but help with grit and toughness. Oh, God. Tanner Fritz, David. Oh, God. But honestly, it makes my blood somewhat boil when we see this kind of thing happen. Whether the crosstown rival team or any other team signs the top free agent, but we can't. The most we could do is sign a Tom Kuhnhackl, a Derek Brassard, let Robin Leonard walk, and bring in a 31-year-old goaltender under the assumption that because he's his best friend, because they share the same agent, that we could get the long-touted Isles prospect to come over from Russia, and get him to play here. Well, so far it looks like it's not going to happen. I've heard sources say that he's not coming. I've heard sources saying that he is coming. Hell, I've even heard sources that he's here on Long Island now. I'm not buying that for a minute. If he truly were on Long Island, don't you think the NHL or at least Sportsnet would be telling us this? Some of the Isles beat writers, or maybe we'd be seeing it all over on Twitter. Someone probably could have seen him. When you don't have a home arena, how do you expect to sign big free agents? You had two last year. Not like anybody really enjoyed that. First you schlepped to the Barclays Center, then you schlepped to the Coliseum. Now the Center again, then the Coliseum, Barclays, Nassau. Now it's nowhere at this point. Now, we're just wondering. We tend to wonder at this point whether it's going to be the Barclays Center, whether it's going to be some other place, or if it's going to be, or if Belmont's going to be bum rushed. But honestly, it makes you wonder. What will the Islanders do? What kind of genius plan will Lou Lamoriello come up with? Especially when it comes to the lack of goal scoring. I've heard people say that he'll rely on Oliver Wahlstrom and Kiefer Bellows. Well, so far we've seen Oliver Wahlstrom not ready. We've seen Kiefer Bellows used, but not much as he should have been. But we've seen plenty of Tom Kuhnhackl. We've seen plenty of Leo Komarov. Hell, we've seen a healthy dose of both of them on the top six. Battered Isle syndrome. No, this isn't battered Isle syndrome, Matt. This is not battered Isle syndrome. No. This honestly, at this point of the turn, This is, if it happens, it happens. And don't come to me and say the NHL is biased against the Islanders, because that's a lot of BS. I don't buy it. According to my friend David here, he says per Brodsky, I think his name is of Newsday, the Islanders still have a lease at the Barclays Center and will play there unless the Coliseum reopens. Well, the issue is with that, if the Islanders do, let's say the Islanders confirm they'll be playing in the Barclays Center for the final year, who's going to want to come? Who was the last free agent or supposed scoring free agent that came to this team that the Islanders were in the Barclays Center? Who was it? Give you a hint. It's not someone that that Islanders are proud of this signing. The last free agent to play for the Islanders that came with the Barclays Center. Oh boy, I don't want to say this. I really don't, but I have to. Andrew Ladd, my God. That was the last scoring free agent that this team signed that actually could score a damn goal. I don't recall any other goal scorer being signed by this squad as a free agent. If you're talking about trades, I'm not counting that. I'm counting free agents. Lou Lamoriello has yet to bring in a free agent that can score. If you count Derek Brassard, he's a third-line center. He's not going to really do you much. Which makes you wonder what his position will be now with Pajot at the helm. Maybe he'll be a fourth. Maybe he'll be a 13th man. Who knows? Maybe. The gift that keeps on giving. I need a drink. No Palmer today. Honestly, this is starting to get worrisome. Sorokin may not come. I'm not going to comment on that, Jimmy. But there are people like that who actually play hockey of that descent. I'll leave it at that. But here's the thing. I'm making smoothies, Kevin. Oh, boy. But when the only free agent that's been able to come to this team that could score is Andrew Ladd. Garth Snow's been fired. He's gone. And now Lou Lamoriello, the coveted cup-winning Hall of Fame GM, is now the general manager for the New York Islanders. And he has yet to bring aboard a goal scorer. This team has managed to overachieve, which is fine. But this season has taken a nosedive for the worst. The Islanders are thinking they're lucky stars at this point where they are in the playoffs in this extended format because of the coronavirus, because of the lockdown. That's why this is all here. That is why. No, for any other reason, not at all whatsoever. The only reason the Islanders are in the playoffs right now is because of this coronavirus pandemic. Hell, you wouldn't see Chicago in this. You probably would see the Rangers in it, maybe. Maybe you would even see Florida in it. Not even. The point is, it's 12 teams per conference, 24-team format. In separate hub cities. One of them, as to what we know right now, is in Vegas. But for right now, who knows what's going on with this? It really does make you wonder what the hell is going on with this squad. Why is everything so amiss? Why, do I have to ask, why can't we get a free agent over here? Why can we only get guys who can only grind, who can only hit, can't really score? Why? The first move Lou Lamoriello made, signing Leo Komarov to a 4-year, $12 million deal, $3 million per. Why? Needed a penalty killer. I can understand that. You look at a team like the Rangers. They could bring in free agents. They brought in one of the most coveted free agents of this season in Artemi Panarin. The Islanders, what did they get? They got Leo Komarov. They got Valtteri Filppula. Well, Filppula was a good acquisition. They got Derek Brassard, and they brought Tom Kuhnhackl back twice. Twice! Not once, twice. Why? He likes chemistry. He's a chemistry guy. He's a guy you want to have on your team. Well, on this team so far, Kuhnhackl has been a disgrace. Why should we have a Kuhnhackl on this team? We already have a bunch of failures in Bridgeport. Guys who won't make this squad regardless because of poor talent evaluation by Gar Snow and his squad. I've talked to people who have said Christopher Gibson will be an NHL goalie and will be able to succeed Thomas Greiss. Yeah, okay. Gibson is a career not NHL, AHL goaltender who can never make an NHL squad. He can make it if a guy is injured, but that's it. Played one important game of his career. And that was a couple of years ago against the Washington Capitals, which got the Islanders into the playoffs. What else did it get him? Just sticking in Bridgeport and sucking it up. Honestly, I don't know where this team could go. It could go one of two ways. Or multiple ways. Especially with no home arena. I'm going to discuss this year first, and then we'll discuss next season. Go one of several ways. They play Florida coming up on this new playoff format. By the way, if any of you have any questions, feel free to ask him. Go one of several ways. A, the Islanders beat the qualifying round in the Panthers in the best of 3, play 5 games. Go on to the next round where they face one of either the Capitals, Flyers, Tampa Bay, and Boston. If the Islanders were to play the Flyers, I could see them beating them easy. Not easy, but fairly, and have a good fighting chance. Washington, they have a chance. Tampa Bay, I'd say 25% chance. So here's how I put it. I put it 75% chance they win if they face Philadelphia and they go to the second round. If they play Washington, I give them a 50% chance. If the Islanders were to play Tampa Bay, I give them a 25% chance. And if the Islanders have to play the Boston Bruins in the first round, I don't see them winning that. I give them a 10% chance, maybe even less. It's really hard to determine this. Not only because of the coronavirus, but because of everything else in between. You got this new playoff format for this season at least. You don't know how guys are going to come back. You got a training camp, which is whenever that is. And honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. The Islanders coming into the suspension of the season were riding a 7-game losing streak, had only gotten 3 points, and were struggling to score goals, especially on the power play. It wasn't good at all. It was atrocious to watch. And each and every time you saw them, they were going on the power play. It was like, okay, how are they going to screw this one up? It's an odd thing. Very odd. In all honesty, when it comes to this season, I don't see the Islanders winning the Cup. Despite the fact that they might have Pajot, it's not enough. Who's there scoring? You got Andersley, who struggled. You got Jordan Eberle, who's supposedly a second-half guy, but hasn't really shown much. You had Matt Barzal, who's predictable. Great talent, but predictable. Brock Nelson, who's been the only one benefiting from this system. Josh Bailey, who's the setup man. And you have a question mark on Nelson's left wing. You could either go Andrew Ladd or Anthony Beauvillier. Pick your poison. Jen, they might be healthy now, but we don't know how they'll translate onto the ice, especially after missing so much time. And with no skating going on, mind you. Only certain groups. And I don't think we've heard that another group has gone into the what's it called? Into the ice center to skate, unless they're not telling anybody. But we haven't heard. The last time we heard was like last week or so. And that was when Josh Bailey, Matt Martin, Cal Clutterbuck, and Thomas Greiss skated. 4 guys. Now, there could have been more that could have went. I don't know. None of it's been reported. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to say they haven't. Because we haven't heard. And I think that's fair to say. When it comes to goaltenders, who do you start? Do you start Varlamov or do you start Greiss? You start Varlamov, obviously. Unfortunately, Gibson's going to be on the roster because unlimited people on the roster when it comes to playoffs or something of that nature. I don't see this team going far. The furthest I see them going is the second round if they beat the Flyers. The Islanders go farther. Call me impressed. But I won't be surprised if they don't make it past the actual first round, not the qualifying. I can see them beating Florida, but after that, I don't see the Islanders going further than the first round, depending on the opponent. All these teams have something the Islanders don't. An actual top 6. Name me a team that has a worse top 6 than the New York Islanders. Please. I'll wait. I'm honestly waiting on which team has a worse top 6. I don't know. Maybe Detroit. Maybe Buffalo. Maybe Ottawa. It's not like we have a first-round pick this year to begin with. But that's that. Just get past Florida, so the draft pick we lose is meaningless. That's if we score. Hell, I even think Florida has a better top 6 than the New York Islanders. Call me wrong on that. Tell me I'm wrong. Yes, I heard Jason Botterill got fired, but this isn't about him. Start of next season. We've got a lot of free agents. Thomas Greiss, Derek Brassard, Tom Kuhnackel, Matt Martin. And there are some other free agents in the lower tiers, Christopher Gibson, and I think Jared Caro. First off, let me go with coaching. Brett Thompson of the Bridgeport Sound Tigers. Gotta go. He's been here far too long. What forwards has he developed? What top 6 forwards has this man developed? In the entire time that he's been here, who has he developed? Brock Nelson, sure. Casey Cizikas, sure. He's good with defensemen. A big question mark when it comes to goaltenders. But what about scoring? Remember when Michael Del Cole was supposed to be this coveted free agent? I'm sorry, coveted prospect? He's supposed to be this great player who scored a lot of goals. That didn't go so well for him in Bridgeport, and it sure as hell isn't going for him here with the Islanders. Couldn't get Josh Hosang to get under control. And from what I've heard, players don't like Thompson. I've heard from sources that say he's great, and I've heard from sources that say players don't like him. Bridgeport, from my understanding, last went to the playoffs last year. Before then, I think 15 years. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think 15 years since Bridgeport went to the playoffs. It makes you wonder about this squad. It really does. When Lou Lamoriello came in, he was supposed to bring a winning culture to this team, which he did, to his credit, in Barry Trotz, Lane Lambert, and Mitch Korn. I give credit where credit is due. He did well when he brought in Valtteri Filppula and Robin Leonard. Did well with that. He also did good in getting Pajot and signing into his extension. That was fine. But where did he mess up on? Where did he mess up? Oh, yes! Not getting this team a goal scorer. The first year was fine. I understood. Team overachieved. But when it comes to this coming year, and I'm talking about this season, to build off the success, he brings in more fourth-line grit or much of the same. Doesn't bring in any change. The only change he brings in is a change of goaltender and a change in center. Now, Filppula wanted to go to the Red Wings, fine. That's fine on him. Brings in Derek Brassard, who I was in favor of, but he didn't replenish the scoring. Virtually the same team. And then harps back all now to this home arena issue. What's this going to attract? What is this drama surrounding the home arena going to attract? Who's going to want to say, "Hey, I want to play for a team that is having these problems with their home arena"? It makes you wonder. Name me one free agent that would love to come to a team with such home arena drama. Name me a free agent that would like to deal with it, where they would say, "Sure, I'll be glad to have an unknown about my home arena. Will I be going to take a train to it, or will I have to just drive to it?" That's if Belmont is built on time, David. He says next time games with fans will be opening night at Belmont. That's if that happens. James, you would love to have me in your house. I know you would. Of course, it's big enough for two of us. Dan's right. Absolutely no players would want to do this. When it comes to this, the only free agents that I could see are guys who are just looking for work. Not guys who are looking for money. Not guys who are looking to make a difference for a team. Just, "Hey, I need a job." Okay, sign here. That's the kind of free agent that this home drama will attract. Not a coveted free agent. Not someone who he could build a franchise around or possibly put a scoring line together with. Just another Tom Kuhnackel in a sense. That's who he will attract. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if Lou Lamoriello decided to go that route. And his excuse will be the chemistry. The man has yet to sign a goal scorer out of free agency. Signed Pajot, which was, listen, I love the move. It was a surprising move, and it should have been made, which is great. He's here for another 5 years. I'm fine with that. But people say that Panarin snubbed the Islanders. No, he didn't snub the Islanders. Panarin found a better team to play for. And I'm sorry to say it, Islander fans, the Rangers, as of right now, are a better team. They are built more offensively. Their defense isn't that strong, but they've got their future in goal in Igor Shesterkin, who didn't mind going to the AHL, to Hartford, played there for a bit, and guess where he is now? He's with the Rangers, playing for their top squad. Hell, I think he's their number one. The Islanders don't have connections. The only connections they have is to fourth liners. The connection they have is to guys who can't play offense. It seriously, these fans wanted to change. They built up billboards to get rid of Gar Snow, and Gar Snow was gone. The same with Doug Weight. Those moves had to be made. Lou Lamoriello comes aboard, brings in Barry Trotz, a great coach, great choice. But what does Lou do to make the team better? In the first year, no one expected it to be as good as they were. The second year, ever since they lost to San Jose, in San Jose, they were 19, 20, and 9. That's below 500. Going into the break, they were below 500 in the last 49 games. How is that even acceptable? When Pelech went down, Lou waited an entire month or two before bringing in help. Decided to see how Noah Dobson went. And I was in favor of letting Dobson play out to sea. Dobson was bad. Couldn't send him to Bridgeport. San Jose, California, my Mr. Mostis of the Santosis. The Mostis Santosis, I'll call you. I hope you like that. San Jose, California. San Jose Sharks. Unless you're just being sarcastic with me. It makes me wonder. And it makes a lot of Islander fans wonder. Does this team have any direction moving forward? How did a 40-goal scorer turn into a 25-goal scorer in one season? Who knows? Lou is washed up. Should be president of hockey operations, get a younger forward-thinking GM. I agree with you, Brian. I really do. It really does make one wonder. To a point to where things are out of control. It really does make you wonder. I say get rid of Lou as a GM. You want to make him president, I'm fine with that. I don't think he's fit to be a GM anymore. Shut up, Kevin. You've got, from what I understand, you've got the yacht club mentality still going with this team. It might not be at the NHL level. It certainly is at the AHL level in Bridgeport. You bring a Hall of Fame GM in, and you clean house at the NHL level. You don't touch Bridgeport. You leave Chris Lamoriello in charge, unless Lou is breeding Chris to be the next Isles GM. And you still have Brett Thompson there. Why? Because he's Chris's best friend. And according to some sources, players love Thompson. Well, I tend to believe the sources that say players hate him. Hired 3 times by Gar Snow because of this yacht club mentality. Why? Who knows? Have yet to bring in anybody worth of value. Wallstrom? Maybe. But will he develop properly under Thompson? Who knows? What about Kiefer Bellows? Who knows? We just don't know. We shouldn't have to feel like we don't know. We should be able to say, we know how this kid will turn up. We should know how this player is going to be, and this player, and that player. Instead, all we have is a bunch of question marks surrounding these players. We got 2 goaltenders who can't stop a puck. One was brought in just to be a backup, which is fine, in Jared Carl. Gibson is a third stringer who this past season only saw a couple of games last season. In the 2017 season, I doubt he saw any action. And in 2015-16, he saw some games. Played one meaningful one. Credit to him on that. But doesn't mean he's worth of anything worth of value. No. Honestly, the backyard that I live with, it's probably big enough. Cut down some of the trees, you might have it. Thompson should have been fired in 2018-19 when Trotz took over. But nope, he's still here. He's still here. Chris is still here. That yacht club mentality is still with this squad. You want to have a winning culture, have it all throughout. You already have it in the NHL, have it in the AHL. Buffalo already did something and got rid of 2 of their guys. They got rid of their AHL head coach, and they also got rid of a scout. Now, the scout I'm not too sure of, but getting rid of your AHL coach says wonders. Maybe this team will follow Buffalo. Not in the sense of firing the GM, but sense of, revamping the AHL. The Rochester Americans, who are the Buffalo Sabres AHL squad. Yeah, we still keep the same squad. People who loved Wade 2 and he got fired. I was one who was on board with it, and I apologized for that. Thompson should have been fired yesterday. Yes, I already addressed that. Sunday is a big date, says David. If international players aren't signed, they can't secure a visa, and they won't be allowed to play in 2019-2020 playoffs. Well, I'd like to see Sorokin. Will that happen? Who knows? But I can tell you this. His rival or his best friend or whomever he is in Shesterkin, guess what? He's already on the Rangers because why? Because he opted to take the AHL option. It makes you wonder what happens when you do that. Patience gets rewarded, does it not? But people will tell you, oh, Sorokin's better. Sorokin hasn't played in the NHL yet. Shesterkin has. So far, if we're being fair, in terms of NHL, Shesterkin is better so far. If Sorokin comes over and gives Shesterkin a run for his money, then we'll see it then. But as of right now, Shesterkin is better. Can't go by anything else. You can't go by the KHL and say, oh, well, KHL numbers compared to NHL numbers. It doesn't work like that. You have to go with NHL numbers first. How's it going, Mr. James? Don't tell me that a player is better simply because he's an Islander. He's not. Rangers have Mika Zibanejad, Chris Kreider, Artemi Panarin. That's a lethal top three. And yet somehow the Islanders can't secure a good top six. They secure a decent top three, not a top six. They got a top five. That's what they have, a top five. I already went through my thoughts on the Coliseum, James. Should have joined earlier. Sorry. Let's go into free agents. When it comes to free agents, like I said, we got Grice, Brassard, Kuhnhackl, and Martin as free agents. Depending on what happens, I don't think Martin comes back. Kuhnhackl, please stay far away from this team as possible. Brassard can go. Thomas Grice, if he's willing to take less than $1,000,075, I'd consider it. If Sorokin doesn't come here. But we have to also hope we can get an amnesty buyout. Maybe buy out Andrew Ladd in that horrible contract. Who knows? We don't know. We need a backup goaltender. I mean, it's not like we could have kept Leno around. Right? What I will say is this. We're stuck with Varlamov. If I'm GM and I can't get Sorokin, first of all, I think I should be fired. Second of all, if I have to choose a backup goaltender to sign, it's not Mike Smith. It's not Brian Elliott. It's not Cam Talbot either. I'm going Antoine Hudobin. Solid backup for the Dallas Stars. I think he could be a very solid backup for the New York Islanders. But then at this point, the Varlamov deal is a wash, especially if the Islanders don't manage to sign Ilya Sorokin. It's frustrating, not only to me, other Islander fans. Pardon me one moment. To Islander fans as a whole, that this dude Leonard wasn't signed in favor of an older goaltender because he was friends with Sorokin and his agent, and they share the same agent. Now Sorokin has a new agent, I believe. And with all this being said, well, we know, no. Well, we know what's going on. No. Lou's a tight-lipped GM, which is fine. But I don't bring back Grice unless he takes less than 1.075. I don't bring back Brassard. I don't bring back Martin. I don't bring back Kuhnhackl. 3 RFAs are signed in Barzal, Taves, and Pulak. But do we know what's going on? Will we? We'll know eventually. But the question is, and I have to ask every one of you this, will Lou Lamoriello bring in a scorer that this team needs? A proven goal scorer. Not a prospect, a proven goal scorer in free agency or trade. Will he? Wait for anyone to give me an answer. I don't think he will. That's my thoughts. No, I don't. I let Hosang walk. David, I let Hosang walk. Let him do his own thing. He deserves to be with a better squad. Maybe that'll help his issues. I don't know, but who knows? Well, for the last 15 minutes or so, I'm going to leave it into a Q&A for everyone. So I'm done talking about this. Let's just hear it. What questions do you guys have? I want to know. Let's continue this conversation. Who's the top 5 for the Islanders? Lee, Barzell, Eberle, Nelson, Bailey. That's the top 5. You should have a top 6 with the goal scorer. But we don't have that. We don't. We don't have it at all. All we have is a bunch of fourth liners. What people don't get is that Varlamov is insurance against not signing Sorokin. Absolutely nobody from the Islanders have come out claiming that Varlamov was signed to entice Sorokin. If they are best friends, then what type of friend would Sorokin be? If he does come over and takes his friend's job, who knows? At this point, Mario. Honestly, I am not even sure at this point. But that's why he was brought in, and you can tell why. It's the writing between the lines. The writing's on the walls, how that goes. My lines for game 1 against the Panthers: Lee, Barzell, Eberle. I'd have to say that's hard. But Beauvillier, Nelson, Bailey. Ladd, Pajot, Bellows, Martin Cizikas, Clutterbuck. Those are my offensive lines. Defense, I'm not really going to comment on defense. We already know what it is. As long as Dobson doesn't play, I'm fine. Listen, Dobson has a lot of talent, but I don't think he's ready. Someone asks, do I think we sign Sorokin, or should we go after a solid goalie? Well, we don't have enough to sign a goalie. We're not going to have enough cap space. I say go try and get Sorokin here as hard as you could. If you don't, that Varlamov signing looks terrible. Dobson doesn't need more time. He just needs time in Bridgeport first. Then we'll determine whether he needs more. Line 2, in Brian's opinion, should be Nelson, Beauvillier, and Wahlstrom. Maybe. But I'm honestly at the point where I'm not willing to trust Wahlstrom in a playoff game just yet. Mario's top 6. He says Beauvillier, Barzell, Eberle. Okay, that seems decent. Lee, Nelson, Bailey. Pretty decent. I'd be open to that. 10 minutes left, and then I'm going to call it. It's a conspiracy from the town of Floral Park that in regards to the Coliseum between Floral Park and Elmont, who never wanted the new arena to begin with. Well, that's all. I'm not going to get into that sort of information. I don't really pay attention to it. That's just me. The concern is just with the home arena. Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns, anything of the sort? Questions about the arenas, question about the team in general, next year, this season. Anything? We won't know. Please don't Komarov in the playoffs. Why do you think, Brian, I said I didn't mention Komarov at all? If you want to put him on the fourth line, I'm fine with that. But not on the third. Hosang, Pajot, Bellows. Well, that could be an interesting third line, honestly. Hosang, Pajot, and Bellows? Who are we to deny ourselves of that? There's going to be they're going to turn the Coliseum into a Sloan Matterings hospital. Well, that's fine. After the Islanders leave, I'm fine with that. Dalcol, Pajot, Bellows. Take Dalcol out. Thoughts on me beating a rival? Oh, it was good. It was good, but I'm not going to comment anymore on that. David, I know you have a bunch of questions. Please feel free to ask them. Anybody else, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. Nothing is a bad question over here. So let's hear it. Why not? Who are we to deny ourselves of questions and answers? Why not? Who would you target for the team in the offseason? I'd target someone like Mike Hoffman or Patrick Laine. In a trade, and at least try and get something of that caliber, because this team is desperate for it. It would take a lot of sacrifice. You might have to sacrifice picks. You might need to trade Leddy along with that. And you might need to trade one of Wahlstrom or Bellows for it. But if it means getting a top 6 goal scorer, I'm down. Arnold Palmer's will be back, just not today. David, I think I already answered that question in the last response, which was I would trade Leddy for cap space or even try to sign a top 6 guy. Arnold Palmer's will be back. Don't worry, Matt. Thoughts on the Death Star 3? If you're talking about the Oakland Raiders Stadium, I'm down. Boychuk and Leddy contracts need to go. I agree, but I think you're only going to get rid of one of them. You're going to amnesty buyout Ladd if there's such a thing, and you're probably going to either trade one of Boychuk or Leddy. And honestly, I think Leddy has more value at this point, so I think you let him go. Ladd has to go, yes. 5 minutes left. Any other questions, comments, concerns, contractual questions? Trade for Duclair to reunite him with Pajot? Maybe. It was a good duo it was a good 1-2 punch in Ottawa. Would I go for Duclair if it meant getting a top 6 forward too? Yes. Boychuk could be death with a pick for cap space to a team close to the floor. Okay, never mind. Let's reread that. Thank you, Rick. Boychuk could be dealt with a pick for cap space. But who are you going to put? Are you going to re-sign Andy Green? You're going to have Dobson play? Hickey? Aho? Who knows? How far will the Isles go? I mentioned this in the beginning of the show, James. How far the Isles will go? I think they'll beat Florida in 5 games. But then when it comes to the first round, I gave it percentages. If they face Philly, they have a 75% chance of winning. If they play Washington, I give them 50% chance. Oh, God. If they play Tampa Bay, I give them a 25% chance. If they play Boston, less than 10%. I would leave Dobson, honestly, Rick, in Bridgeport. Let him develop. Lou will probably offer Joe Thornton 3 years, $18 million. I could see that happening, honestly. I could see the Islanders offering Joe Thornton a 3-year deal because Lou loves his veterans. Flyers might be better, But honestly, Brian, I think the Islanders have a better chance of advancing when facing the Flyers than they do against the Capitals, Tampa Bay, or even Boston. I think that's fair to say. Uh, Cabero Effect says he wants William Karlsson. Oh my God. No. He wants William Karlsson to be center and move Barzell to right wing. Barzell's the center. I'm not going to switch him to a winger. Sorokin snubs Lou. Do I fire him? I'd have to say so at this point. If you can't get Sorokin, the coveted prospect that this team needs in goal, you got to get rid of him, and you'll regret Leonard at this point. Not afraid of the Caps, that's fine, but it's their offensive punch that's deadly, and we have no offense. What's good, Mr. Adam? How are you? Adam, message me. There's something I got to talk to you about. Just message me when you can. Will having Pelech make us a better team? I think so defensively, yes. I think this team's defense will improve dramatically with Pelech back on the squad. That way you have a guy like Hickey as a seventh defenseman, or not even. You have a guy like Green as your seventh defenseman. And what you do from there? You have Dobson and Bridgeport. Keep him there. Have Hickey play. Thoughts on the prospect pool being ranked in the 20s? Not good. Not good at all. I don't like it. And I don't pay attention to Bridgeport much. Just be straight up on that. I don't pay attention to them much. But I am want to understand that with this squad, you got to have a good prospect pool. This doesn't. Not even with goal scorers. We got about a minute left. Any last-second questions? Answers? Anything? I think Adam thinks in short it's going to be a short series. The Isles can hang. No problem with anybody that is. The Rangers make him nervous. The way the Rangers are playing with their scoring, yes. Defense for the Rangers is a little suspect. But with their scoring and their goaltending, they can get it done. 30 seconds left. Any last-second questions or answers or anything? Do I think Barzell stays in Islander when his contract is up? I think so. I honestly think Barzell stays. I think Lou Lamoriello signs the restricted free agents. It's the unrestricted free agents who are out there that are going to be difficult. The ranking could be better with an AHL coach. That's better, yes. James says that he hopes there are Islanders versus Rangers in an Eastern Conference final. I'd pay money to see that. It'd be better if it was here in New York. Short series, offense wins or defense? Offense. A good offense and defense. If the Islanders' offense, and that's the final question, I believe. If there's any more? Okay. This is the last question, and it's by my friend Adam. Short series wins. Short series. Offense wins or defense? Here's the issue with that. Excuse me. With the Islanders' defense is really good. If they can get an offense that complements that defense, they can go far. If they can score on the power play and they can score goals, it can go far. But if you don't have the offense, it will not help you at all. I've said that. And people have been saying otherwise. If you don't have a good offense to complement the good defense, you're not going to get anywhere. And we saw that down the stretch for the Islanders. So, with that being said, thank you very much, everybody, for watching the Risorto Report live show, Home Arena Discussion, and others. I'm your most gracious host. If you have been blessed by my presence, Greg Risorto, and I will see you either when Sorokin signs or when the playoffs start. Let's go, Islanders.